Hello everyone. Today I have a very cool video for you. This is going to be a 5 frugal meals for large families. If you've been following us for a while, you know that our channel is all about budgets. It's all about feeding a large family on an extreme, tiny, small budget. I try to budget a lot less than we can afford, hence the word budget. It is not what we can afford, it is what I want to pay. Sometimes we go over, sometimes we don't, sometimes we stay under. So our goal is to save money and buy a house. Sorry, there's like weird reflection on my glasses. It's from the window. But anyway, I am doing this video with 2 other special mamas, and I will share with you in a minute who they are and their channels. Make sure that you go over and send them love and support and tell them that we sent you, and just be kind and subscribe and show them all kinds of love. If you are new from their channel, welcome. I am Tiffany. We are a large family of 7. We have 5 children in age range of almost 10 months to 14 and a half. We have all stages, baby to high school. We have high school, middle school, elementary, toddler, baby. It's fun, it's busy, it's loud, so much love. So I share all the time our budget. I share our grocery hauls on a budget. I share what our budget is and how I do it, and I make almost everything from scratch. I share full day of meal budget videos that show how I feed everybody, what I feed everybody, and how I make it and stuff. So if you like that kind of stuff, make sure you follow along, because I have been able to share quite a few budgeting tricks that I use. So if you need some, just make sure you hit that subscribe button, and we would be very appreciative. So let's get on with this video of 5 frugal meals. All right, so I'm sitting here editing, so you just saw me in something completely different. This is a new day. I'm realizing I never said I'm gonna add prices. I just went and listed everything and wrote down the price that you can get these items at our local Walmart. Of course, you may get it cheaper or more expensive depending on where your Walmart is. We are right outside of Washington, D.C. Ours might be higher, ours might be lower than yours. Also, a lot of our items I get at Aldi, so it's actually even cheaper than this. But just for this, because all these items I had on hand, I didn't like go to the store to make. I just made them and filmed them the days of. So I didn't like get a receipt to do specifically price breakdowns for these meals. So I am just going on our Walmart website, the Walmart grocery app, and I'm putting the prices down for each item listed. Now, when it came to seasonings and stuff, obviously I didn't have to buy seasonings, and I didn't list all the seasonings and go like add the prices and stuff, because you don't use the whole bottle of seasoning. You just use a couple sprinkles. So I tried to do like 10 cents, 20 cents or whatever for seasonings. That even might be going over. Like for example, I put 50 cents for all the seasonings on the meatloaf. I don't know if it's more or less. These are just kind of estimated totals. And again, depending on your family size, it might be more, it might be less. Depending on where you live, it might be more, it might be less. So keep that kind of stuff in mind. This is not like completely solid, this is what it's going to cost you. I have little kids, so we are a big family, but my little kids don't eat much. So again, even if you have the same amount of people that we do, you might eat more, you might eat less. It just depends. So these are just estimated totals. Again, I did all the work right here for each meal. And like I said, a lot of this stuff to make it, you probably already have ketchup, brown sugar, mustard, stuff like that. So you don't even have to price that in, but I did. So yours might even be less than these. So good luck on that. I hope it helps. I try to do low price meals, and I mean, that's basically all we eat at our house. I don't ever buy steak. You won't ever see steak in our videos, just because to pay for me, my husband, 2 teenagers, and an 8-year-old for steak, it's just expensive. I just don't do it. If we get steak, it's because we're going out to dinner and it's a special time. Like, we rarely even go out to dinner, so if we're going out, it's a special thing. Like this past Saturday was my birthday. I'm filming before, so I'm gonna say we probably went out to dinner and I might have gotten a steak, but I doubt it because I usually don't. But my husband might have gotten a steak on Saturday when we went out. I don't know, but it's just, I don't buy expensive items for these kind of food, or for our house. So usually all the meals that we make are frugal meals. As I said, I share budgeted meals all the time. So pretty much everything we do is budget meals. So here you go with the video. It's not a very like super fancy video, but it's done, it's together, and I hope it gives you some good ideas. First mom is Christine from Frugal Fit Mom. She shares grocery hauls and different videos sharing budgeting ideas and topics and lunch ideas, and shares just organization tips and stuff like that. We did a collab with her a little bit ago about lunches, and she's a really cool mom. And the next one is Amanda from the Fundamental Home. She also shares a lot of budgeting tricks and tips and food ideas like food diaries and hauls and just a bunch of tips on how to be frugal. So make sure you check both of them out. My first frugal meal is a copycat burrito bowl from Chipotle. You just use rice and veggies and fill it with black beans and corn and stuff like that, and it helps keep the meat price down, and it's very filling. So when I made it, I used onion and green pepper, jasmine rice, black beans, corn, and I used mozzarella cheese because that is what I had. And the only toppings that we had were sour cream and cheese. That's another reason it's one of my favorite frugal meals, is you can kind of use what you have on hand. You don't need anything special from the store to make it other than like your basic bulk ingredients, but you can add whatever veggies and toppings that you want. You don't have to go out of your way to make anything special. Like I would have loved avocado on this, but we didn't have it, and I wasn't about to go get it on just to add to the meal. I break it down to about $5.89, and that is using our current Walmart prices in the DC area. So it's 58 cents for 1 can of black beans, 50 cents for 1 can of corn, 75 cents for an onion, 80 cents for a green pepper, $1 for a 16-ounce container of sour cream, $1.74 for an 8-ounce bag of mozzarella cheese, and it is $2.62 for a 32-ounce bag of jasmine rice, but you don't use quite the whole thing, so it ends up, if you divide it out, it ends up being about 52 cents for about 2 cups. So that equals $5.89 for this meal, and then you divide that by however many people you're going to feed. Obviously, it'll be more if you're feeding a lot of people, or it could be less if you're feeding less, but that is my breakdown for this meal. And all I did to make this was throw the rice in the rice cooker, sauteed up the onions and peppers, and then heated up the black beans and corn and piled everything as I liked onto my bowl. And that's something simple that you can do, is just make the rice, whatever veggies I said as you have on hand, whatever toppings you want to do, pile it into your bowl, what you like. You can customize it, and you can make kind of things separate. That way your family can customize it. Like some of my kids don't like black beans and some do. So the ones that did, put it on their bowls, and the ones that didn't, obviously didn't have any. So that kind of stuff you can do with it. You can also add meat if you like. This is just something I do to keep costs down, is not add meat. But sometimes we do add meat. We do pork of this. We do chicken. As I said, do what your family likes and whatever you want to keep it the cheapest. My second frugal meal is Franks and beans, and we just use hot dogs, green pepper, and baked beans, and then we throw in some seasonings like, well, sauces, seasonings, brown sugar, syrup, ketchup, and mustard. And let me tell you, it is filling and it is some kind of good. And so to make this, it couldn't be any simpler. You just cut up the hot dog and green pepper and put it in the oven with some butter. Not butter, oh my gosh, with some syrup. Let that saute and mix around for a little bit. And then add some brown sugar. And you will notice that we don't measure. We tend not to measure a lot of our food. If you've been watching us for a while, you know that. If you're new, don't expect a lot of like actual measurements out of us, because we just kind of go with the flow and how we're feeling that day. One day might vary to the next. So anyway, you get that all mixed around, and then we added some mustard and some ketchup, and then let that kind of sizzle and bubble and get all like mixed together with the ingredients and flavors. And then we add the can of baked beans, and again, mix that around, let it sit for a while on the stove, let everything melt together and just get all delicious and so good. I'm like tasting it in my mouth as I'm watching this. But yeah, you just let that sit for a while and get like all mixed together, and then you eat it. For our third frugal meal, we have meatloaf muffins, green beans, and mashed potatoes. I used 2 pounds of ground beef, oatmeal. Again, you will see me just throwing things into the bowl. Every time I make my meatloaf, I actually make it different. So this day, I just went with this stuff. I did ketchup, some Worcestershire sauce. I added 2 eggs because I added 1 egg per pound of ground beef. And then I just grabbed whatever seasonings I wanted. So I did parsley, that's Italian seasoning. And then right now I'm getting ready to pour in this shaker I made of salt, pepper, onion powder, garlic powder. I mixed it all together in like one little shaker so I could just use it as I wanted because I use those often. And I also added that ground mustard that you saw. I used my KitchenAid to mix this up. And as for the glaze for the top, I did brown sugar and ketchup, about equal parts of each. And then I just shaped these into little balls and put them in my meatloaf tin to bake them in, and bake them at 375 for 25 minutes, topped with the glaze. And then I made mashed potatoes with my Instant Pot. I threw the potatoes in there in 12 minutes on high and then released the pressure, added milk, sour cream, butter, salt, and pepper. And I used a can of green beans and I heated everything up together and it was wonderful. Our fourth frugal meal is homemade pizza. Everything was homemade, the dough and the sauce, obviously not the cheese or pepperoni or crushed pineapple that we add. But again, this is another meal that you can customize as much as you want. You can put whatever toppings on that you want, or you can leave toppings off and just do cheese if you really want to tone it down with the price. So here I am making our dough from scratch. I will leave the link down below in the description box. It's actually Jamarelle Stewart's recipe. I just add Italian seasoning and garlic powder to it and throw it all in the bread maker, and then you have to let it rise for about an hour and a half afterwards. I also made our homemade pizza sauce. I will leave the recipe down below. It is a pizza sauce that I kind of made up on my own. I actually tripled the ingredients because I wanted to throw some in our freezer, so you see a lot more out than you actually need at the time, unless you're making tons of pizza. So I use, if you cut it down, the recipe that'll be down below, if you do just a single recipe, is enough for at least 2 pizzas. I tripled it and put some in the fridge, as I said, but what I kept out was enough for 2 pizzas. There was a glimpse at our pasta sauce, and then I used this can of crushed pineapple, pepperoni, mozzarella cheese, of course the pizza sauce I just made, and the pizza dough, and we made 1/2 cheese and pepperoni, 1/2 cheese, pepperoni, and pineapple. And finally, for our 5th meal, it is chicken pot pie, and for this I shred my own chicken thighs. Used 1 can of cream of chicken soup, mixed vegetables frozen from Walmart, and these ready-to-go pie crust, chicken broth, and an onion. I also used salt, pepper, onion powder, garlic powder, and poultry seasoning. So the first thing I did was saute the onion in some extra virgin olive oil, and when that was tender, about 5 minutes, I added these frozen veggies, and we like a lot of veggies in ours. It's just extra filling. I add 1 can of cream of chicken soup. I give that a big old stir, and then I start adding some of the shredded chicken, and I'm just going by my eyeballs here. I'm not really using any kind of measuring system at all or any recipe. This is just how I've been making it for years. So I add enough chicken that I think that I'm gonna need, and then you'll see me adding some salt, pepper, onion powder, garlic powder, and I have actually previously combined all of those into one shaker because I use them often, so I made my own little seasoning mix out of it, and that's what I'm putting in there. And then I also add some McCormick's poultry seasoning right here, and for some reason it started to blow everywhere. I guess that was what was coming all over the camera. I don't even know. But here's the mixture, and then I put it into the pie crust and then top it with another pie, and I baked it at 350 for 40 minutes. Oh, and before I baked it, I brushed it with an egg wash. Thank you guys so very much. Don't forget to head over and follow those mamas and check out their videos. Again, their links will be down below. Make sure you tell them that we sent you and give them some love, leave them some kind words, and don't forget to go out in the world and be kind to someone else. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you're new from their channels, thank you for taking the time out of your day to watch us. We really appreciate it, and we hope you want to stick around and become part of our Large Family Love family by clicking that subscribe button, and we will see you tomorrow with a brand new video. I will talk to you guys down below in those comments. Please don't forget to subscribe and enjoy these other videos we have coming up for you. Also, you can turn on the red bell notifications so you're notified of every new video we post. Thank you so much.